All right. Good morning, everybody. Early morning crypto talk, Bitcoin Brandon here. Yes, I said I didn't know if I was going to do it this morning, but I am. Crypto talk from San Jose, California. Welcome. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. See, we've got Mafoos. What's going on, Mafoos? From Laurel, Maryland. Sean, the voice, Robinson. Sharita Hill, Anthony Pinkston, Damon Floyd. Yeah, you missed that one last night, Mafoos. You say you just watched a video where Amazon will be using Ethereum blockchain. That's correct. Jana Jones from Ohio. Sharita from Nashville. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to go into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? I'm sorry, that's not rule number 3. Rule number 3 is always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. Rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Find a vehicle, make a decision, and take action. Remain focused and do not get distracted. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. So just a couple of articles we're going to talk about this morning, and I decided to do it because the market is doing something interesting. What's going on, Rohan from Atlanta? Moshe Frazier from Philly. Clevie Stewart from New York City. Let's set up screen share. All right, let's get back. Screen share on. Hope you guys have enjoyed a good week so far. Today is day 2 of the Blockchain Expo. So I'm looking forward to that. Yesterday, I spent most time listening to some of the speakers. They were talking about security in the future for crypto. And today, I'm going to spend most of my time walking around the booths and looking at different crypto ideas that people have out there. Especially, I love the artificial intelligence stuff, the Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, and how the blockchain technology is actually going to be powering all that. Let's see, we've got Denisha from North Carolina. All right, first up. Oh, first we need to look at the market. Let's take a look. CoinMarketCap.com, let me do a refresh here. So what is this telling us? What story? $139 billion is in the market. I think that is up $4 billion since last night. If I recall, or $3 billion, it was at 36 billion last night, so it was up $3 billion. BTC dominance is 54%, which means new money came in and a lot of it went to Bitcoin itself. So let's see what the market's looking like. Bitcoin price is 43.41. That is up higher than yesterday. Yesterday was at 42 or 41.90 something. 3% growth in the last 24 hours. So I remember last night it was on this downward dip thing, and now it's kind of come back up a bit. Ripple's negative, Ethereum positive, Stellar 5%, Bitcoin Cash negative, Bitcoin SV is negative 2%. The market looks pretty flat right now. Tether's in the green, which means barely. People are pulling money still into the market, but this looks flat. Tron is still up 10%. It's now the number 11 coin. Go figure. Monero's negative. Let's look at the top performers. Last 24 hours. Centrality. Bitcoin Private. Sarin Labs token. And I see how it had this spike, came down, and then studied it. I know people thought this might have been a pump and dump. But I'm very excited about the future of this coin. Sarin Labs token. See, Factum, ELF, Mithril, Verge. The porn coin is still up 12%. Verge and Tron both up double digits. There's a lot of coins that were double digits for the last 24 hours in the green. Pundi X coming back up. This is another one that you might want to watch long term. Let's see here. Stellar. What is Curiosity? This token's down 7%. So that's about 1 cent. Let's see. Come on, I want to see his history data. And my computer's moving slow. There we go. So it had a high back in September. It was at 5 cents. And then it's come back down. It's at 1 cent right now. from September to now. All right, I want to see the worst performers of the last 24 hours. Hello, Patricia Davis. All right, worst performers. Nexo, EOS, -4%. See Bitcoin Diamond, Tezos, Bitcoin Cash, Gold, SV. So the Bitcoin spinoffs have not had a good 24 hours compared to the others, while Bitcoin is still steadily climbing. USD coin, stable coin. Litecoin, barely native. So the market to me right now looks flat. That's not bad nor good. It's just, we'll see if there's going to be a new bottom. But Bitcoin being in the 4,300 range, that's a good sign if it can keep going up. So let's go back to the news. See what I want to start with. I want to start with this one. Unequivocal, yes. New York Stock Exchange chair says Bitcoin and crypto are here to stay. Isn't that kind of different than what the LA Times was saying just the other day? You go listen to New York Times or the New York Stock Exchange. So the LA Times was saying that. Good morning, Shane. So if you guys are still freaking out about the price of Bitcoin, all the big boys aren't even fazed by that. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are here to stay despite the current bear market, says Jeff Sprecher, chairman of the New York Stock Exchange and CEO of its parent company, Intercontinental Exchange. When asked about the plunging crypto market values, Sprecher said in an exchange operator, it's not his place to opine about prices. However, he's confident about the bright future of digital assets. The unequivocal answer is yes, crypto will survive, Sprecher said at the Consensus Invest conference in New York this week. Sprecher says Bitcoin is still the yardstick. Sprecher noted that Bitcoin is still the barometer by which all other cryptocurrencies are judged, and that won't change. Somehow, Bitcoin has lived in a swamp and survived, Sprecher said. See, that's what I want people to understand. The LA Times, Forbes, and Bloomberg and MSNBC, they have all been trying to judge Bitcoin from December 17th, 2017 to today. That's all they're looking at, while completely ignoring the 9 years before. And they're doing that on purpose because it fits their narrative. But Bitcoin has been in the swamps for years, and it's still here. For Jeff Sprecher, digital assets are becoming something of a family affair. His Intercontinental Exchange, along with Microsoft, Starbucks, and BCG, is backing a new company called Bakkt, whose CEO is Sprecher's wife, Kelly Loeffler. Okay, think about that for a second. His Intercontinental Exchange, Microsoft, Starbucks, BCG is backing a company called Bakkt, and the CEO is his wife. So Bakkt will facilitate Bitcoin futures trading in the first quarter of 2019. The launch was postponed from December 2018 to January 24th due to unforeseen demand. To give it the best chance for success, we pushed it back to give people more time to get on board, Loeffler said. It's a positive indication of the interest, and it gives people time to learn. Bakkt will provide custody and price discovery for Bitcoin, which is regulated as a commodity by the CFTC. In a way, that's designed to be free from market manipulation and fraud. ICE's rival, NASDAQ, the world's second largest stock exchange, is also charging ahead with its own plans to launch a Bitcoin futures product in the first quarter of 2019. All of this is paving the way for the mass entry of institutional investors into the crypto market and the mainstream adoption of virtual currencies. We're creating that infrastructure that doesn't exist today, which we think is a big opportunity for institutional investors to come in, Loeffler said. Expert said, if you build it, they will come. That's true. And that's what 2018 has all been about. It's only been about infrastructure. They've been manipulating the price down because they know once they're finished, then everybody's going to come. While most of the headlines concerning crypto focuses on its recent price drops, insiders say what's happening below the surface is far more exciting and consequential to the future of the industry. One thing, when I was at the expo yesterday, not one time did I really hear anybody talk about the current price of Bitcoin. Nobody was talking about that. Many experts predict that institutional investments will start pouring in the first half of 2019, and that is a game-changing development that will transform the industry. What's happening behind the scenes is companies are being built to create infrastructure to enable the onboarding of a whole new category of investors. That's the institutional investors, rich people, said Barry Silbert, the founder of Digital Currency Group. So behind the scenes, nobody has slowed down. So I want you to think about the average uneducated person that might be investing in Bitcoin or don't even know about, how to invest, but they've heard about Bitcoin. And all they see is the price is going down and to sell. Even Forbes said, don't buy the dip. Yet the people that are educated, the movers and shakers, are noticing, hey, nothing is slowed down behind the scenes. In fact, it is ramping up big time. It's like starting the engine when you still got the emergency brakes on and you're pumping the gas right now. And soon that emergency brake is going to be released and it's going to shoot off like a rocket. That's what's going to happen. And you don't need to listen to me. I mean, this guy, New York Stock Exchange just said it. Barry Silbert, the founder of Digital Currency Group, just said it. All the experts are saying it. All right, last article up. Overstock CEO, all in on blockchain, says that it's bigger than the internet revolution. This is why I do what I do. I mean, when I first came to network marketing in the 90s, and I was part of a company called ACN, do you want to know how they used to pitch everybody in the room? They would say, 1998, how many of you wish you could have been there at the beginning of Microsoft, at the beginning of Apple? That's what they used to say. And everybody would raise their hand. In fact, it was like my second ever meeting. And there was I'll never forget this. There was a guy in the room who stood up and he said, in 1978 or 79 or something, he was invited to a private meeting. Okay. It was for Microsoft. And there was, like he said, about 12 people in the room. And they were invited to invest $100-something thousand, $200-something thousand each into the Microsoft project. And he said a couple of people in the room pulled out their checkbook and wrote a check on the spot. He had the money, but he said, I need to go home and talk to my wife first, if I'm about to spend this much money. Now, there's a lesson to be learned here. The wife was not in the room to hear this presentation. He was. He goes home, tells the wife, yeah, I just came from this meeting, that meeting, yeah, I want to put in about $100,000. What do you think she said? Hell no, you ain't putting in no $100,000 on this computer thing. Put a window on everything. No. And by that time it was, what computer was that? The operating system that was dominating. It wasn't Microsoft. And he said, yeah, now that I think about it, no, I'm not going to do it. So he didn't do it. And he said by 1998, had he invested that $100,000, he would be worth more than $100 million today at that time. So he said, I learned a lesson not to pass up on a great opportunity, especially if you're there at the beginning of a huge wave, something that's going to change the world. Do you think Microsoft changed the world? I think Bill Gates has changed the world. And then, but at that time, you know what was going on in 1998? The internet revolution was going on right then. I didn't even have a cell phone in 1998. I think I was excited. We had got in 98, 99, the two-way pager we was excited about. I had a two-way pager. I wanted to make a phone call. I had to stop off. Somebody paid me. I had to stop off at a toll booth or a phone booth. Do you see any phone booths around anymore? But I was there when the internet revolution was taking place, and I didn't even know it was taking place. We were talking about, dang, we missed out on the Microsoft revolution. So fast forward to today. I was 40 years old when I first really started paying attention to Bitcoin. I'm 42 now. And I realized that this is bigger than the internet revolution. It's bigger than Microsoft. It's bigger than Apple. It's bigger than the last industrial revolution. This is the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind. And you can't unlearn what you know. So since I know this now, there's no way I could sit home in LA when there's a Bitcoin blockchain expo taking place just north of me. That's going to teach me more about this new revolution that's changing the world. My children aren't old enough to take advantage of this. My parents don't understand it. I am the one in my genealogy that's alive right now in all history of my family's genes to take advantage of this, because it's not going to happen again. So everything I do is to be positioned for this. I know time is short. It's like a race. And I'm not going to be on my deathbed saying, I wish I would have taken this more seriously. I wish I would have put more into it during those days when I knew about it and I didn't. I don't want to have that regret. That is what pushes and drives me. So now let's read what the Overstock CEO has to say. It says that it is bigger than the internet revolution. Overstock CEO Patrick Byrne tells Fox Business host that he wants to get out of retail and get into the blockchain business, despite plunging crypto prices. What do these wealthy guys know? They don't care about the price of Bitcoin right now. Patrick Byrne claims that blockchain is a technology that is here to stay, and that the blockchain revolution has greater potential than anything we've seen in history. Think about, just pause on that for a second. It's not just me saying this. It's not just smart dude in the barbershop that be knowing everything. It's not broke cousin Pookie on the corner. These are millionaires and billionaires that realize this. Yet I got people on the street saying, you still doing that Bitcoin thing? Didn't it crash last week? This is going to be bigger than anything we've seen in history. Bigger than the internet revolution. And how it's going to restructure society. Think about that. Not, a trend, not a fad, like dance moves, the milli wop, the doo wop, those whatever. We're talking about restructuring society as we know it. This is what he cares about. Actual progress in blockchain innovation, instead of being concerned with what specific coins are doing on a particular day. This is big boy thinking right here. It's billionaire thinking. Burns said that he announced Overstock's interest in blockchain about 4 years ago and has very interesting positions with 19 blockchain companies. You see, he's not talking about, oh, I've invested in this coin and that coin. Oh, no. He's invested in blockchain companies that's going to change the world. In his eyes, 2019 will be the year where real world blockchain products will finally be released. Among these products are security tokens. He mentioned that last November, Bob Graylfie, chairman of the NASDAQ, said, every stock and bond you see on Wall Street today could be tokenized and in 5 years will be tokenized. So if you guys think that you're here too late, you're just at the beginning. I just saw what Jamal said. This all will be wife-changing soon. That's funny. This is just more evidence of blockchain technologies replacing and building the stock exchanges of the new world. When asked why a security token is superior to buying a stock, Byrne replied with 3 main reasons. Pay attention to this. 90% lower regulation costs. Complete transparency for regulators. Immunity from Wall Street manipulation. Long term. Right now it is being manipulated because of this low volume. Security tokens and blockchain technologies will prevent Wall Street from playing games with the financial markets as they do now. So even though I say that, it's being manipulated right now, he's even saying stock market's being manipulated by Wall Street. Comb being the best of both worlds in terms of features and solving fundamental issues. Security tokens will be the ICOs of 2019. A NASDAQ article notes that improvements in infrastructure and the regulatory environment will create a tsunami of security tokens flooding the financial ecosystem. What's new with these blockchain products is that they combine traits of both venture capital and utility tokens. Regulators are keeping an open mind and want to avoid stifling innovation within the fintech space. This is especially so as institutional investors jump onto the crypto bandwagon. So cryptocurrencies are here to stay, says Alliance Chief Economic Advisor. According to Mohammed El-Irian, who attended the CoinDesk conference in New York, cryptocurrencies will gain wider acceptance as institutionalized investors join the space. I didn't initially distinguish between cryptocurrency and the underlying technology. I treated it all as one, El-Irian said. As I evolved, I learned in the process. You see that? Education. As I evolved. See, most people, they see Bitcoin for the first time because they hear about it, that it's some new coin and people making money off of it. It's a new store of value. It's going up in price. People want to get rich quick. But they don't understand the technology behind it. And when you have that aha moment, you end up like me. I don't miss an event. I'm there. I'll be in London at the next Blockchain Expo next year. Every event I can get my hands on, I will be there. Learning, gaining more insight and info. I know that one of these companies at this expo is going to end up being the next Amazon. Trying to find and figure out which one that's going to be. But he learned, as you get into the space, you start to realize it's much bigger than Bitcoin. At first, he was unsure of the legitimacy behind cryptocurrencies as a global currency. He changed his mind after gaining a better understanding of blockchain's distributed ledger technology. Virtual currencies offer a secure transactions layer over the internet, an improvement over our current leaky transacting methods. I think cryptocurrencies will exist. They will become more and more widespread, but they will be part of an ecosystem. They will not be dominant as some of the early adopters believed them to be. I agree with that. I think it's going to work hand in hand with the current system because the government's not going to just roll over and die. They're going to come out with their own digital coins. And then every business and corporation and people, you'll see the Kardashian coin coming out soon. Guarantee you it's already in production. And Kim don't know what the heck is going on. They're just going to use her name. Everybody's going to have their own coin. When Donald Trump leaves office, watch. There will be a Trump coin. Mark my words. You heard it here first. There will be a Trump coin. Mohammed forgets to mention how, as the tech industry engulfs the banking industry, it forces banks to adapt and fit into apps on mobile phones. Also, unlike cryptocurrencies, the current financial industry lacks anti-fragility and is propped up by big governments, an issue Satoshi Nakamoto wants to solve with Bitcoin. All right, so I hope you guys learned something new this morning off of that. Let's see what the market's doing since I've been speaking. It was at 139 billion last looked. See if it crosses to 140. Yep, look at that. The market just added $1 billion since I began this crypto talk. Bitcoin is still up 3%, 43.58, but another billion has been added. We crossed the $140 billion mark. So I'm going to watch this closely because this is telling me that it's flatlined, that it's squeezing right now. In fact, let's look closer at the markets. Poloniex. Let's see. If the market's squeezing. From what I saw from that, it is squeezing. But we will double check. Bitcoin, Ethereum. Yeah, this is all flat. Basic attention's up 8%. Zcash, Aux. Golem is up 12%. That's interesting. While that loads, let's look at the buy-sell orders. 43.83 selling, 43.75. Let's see if that big whale is still out there manipulating the market on Poloniex. I see 40 Bitcoin there. He made his money. 40 Bitcoin there. That's the same dude playing the same game. He's got a buy order at 43.27. He's got a sell order at 44.12. So he's going to buy 40 Bitcoin and then sell it, buy it at 43.27, and then he's selling it at 44.12. What percentage is that? 3%? 2%? I don't know, because we're talking about 40 Bitcoin. Yeah, $173,000. So he might make off of that $6,000 to $10,000 today on that one trade, and then he's going to do it again, keep flipping it. This is my goal of what I want to get to, where I've got $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 to play with. And I come into the market and I put in a buy order, sell order, stop loss, and just rinse and repeat. And you could be pulling 5 figures a day doing this. So that's where the advanced traders, and you got to know how to spot it. So I see it. What I would do, I would come in here. I'm giving you, so this is free suggestions. I can't call it advice. I would see this, right? And I would see, okay, he's got 40 Bitcoin in there, and he's selling it at 44.12. I would put a buy order at the same amount that he's got his buy order, or maybe just a little bit below. Where's that right there? 43. I'm going to test this. I'm going to play with this when I get back home. I'm going to get back into trading. 43.26, right? So I will put it in my buy order at 43.26. And then once I buy a lot, I put a sell order at the same he's got it at, and rinse and repeat. And when you got a lot of money in there, that now you're making a difference. I'm gonna start practicing this with like a couple $100, so I get the hang of it. And this is what other people do. They just look at what the whales are doing. So let's look at the market. All right. 5-minute chart. It did squeeze. Let's go back. That's 24 hours. So it did squeeze. Now it's coming back up. Look at that. So we're on an uptrend. 43.67. The last price high was 44. It hit 44.52 sometime in the night. 44.52. Low was 41.28. Almost got back to 4,500. Then it came back down. I guess that's where you see it there. So last 24 hours. What about the last 2-day chart? Let's look at a trend here. You see this trend line? Steadily going up the last 2 days. That's what you want to look at, the trend line. So even though you've got ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, the long term is going straight up. So this is good to watch. And like I said, I hope you guys learned something new. As always, that is a point. Tonight, there will not be a late night crypto talk, but I will be doing a KGX presentation, and I have a special guest on tonight that will be co-owner of the company, Mr. Mike Boggs, with some updates. So that's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on kgxglobal.info. kgxglobal.info. See you all then. I'm on my way to the Blockchain Expo for the last day. I'm going to get a bunch of businesses cards so that I can go home this weekend and do some research and start to really plan out 2019. I want to plan out, okay, I want to invest $200,000, $300,000. What companies do I want to invest it in? And I already have that number in my mind. So now I need to go make another extra $200,000 so I can invest. Anyways, you guys have a great day. I will be broadcasting live again from the expo, taking a whole lot of pictures. Try to share as much as I can with you guys. But again, at the end of the day, these are events that you want to be at. If you just go online and look for, if you're not able to travel, there's local events in your area, I guarantee it. Even if there's meetup groups, you want to get in this space. Immerse yourself in the space. Henry Ford at one point was the richest man in the world, and he didn't have a college education or degree. And when he went to court to defend his manufacturing, and they all were making fun of him because he was uneducated as far as book smarts. And they were asking him questions that they knew he couldn't answer. And he said, I don't need to know the answer. I'll just go hire somebody that can answer the question for me. Then they said, well, what would you do if you lost all your money? You have no education. He said, the first thing I would do is I would go and hang out where people who had money were. I just hang out in that area with them. Osmosis. Birds of a feather flock together. You look at the 5 closest friends around you, and your bank account is on average is equal. It's about the same. If you're in a situation where your bank account is more than the friends around you, you need to change your friends. You need to get new friends. That is not being mean or cold-hearted. It is, you're never going to advance. So with that, have a great day. Attend these type of events. I'll see you all this afternoon. God bless. Bye-bye.